When we talk about political history, more we seem to focus on elected officials or of that nature, but lobbying is part of political history. Talk about how you view lobbying within Michigan's political history.
I guess I would say it this way. There's a lot of different players in the making of laws, okay? There's the elected officials themselves, the legislators, okay? But there are interest groups, okay? There are companies that are affected, okay? There are associations that are affected. There are, too often, when a proposal is being considered, there's winners and losers. And you have to be very careful that you get all the points of view involved. So anyway, in the lawmaking process, you have interest groups, you have lobbyists, you have elected officials, you have citizens, okay? It's just, it's an interesting process, and I found it to be a good process. There's no old saying you don't want to watch the making of sausage or the making of laws.
Right.
But you have to get involved.
Yeah.
You have to get involved.
It can get messy.
Oh, it can get very messy. Well, and here, Larry, the media is a part of this, okay, a very important part of this. And if we didn't have the media reporting what's going on, the good and the bad, we wouldn't know. Now, over the years, as you know better than I do, when you first started, it was the print media that was really,
right.
was where you got the depth of understanding of what was going on. And then you got television, and then you got radio, and now today you got the social media and all the other stuff that I can't keep track of, but it's...
Thankfully you have Barb, your wife, who does keep track of it.
Right.
And so you've seen lobbying change dramatically from when you started this venture until, I mean, now we have 3,000 or more registered lobbyists back when you started.
The truth of the matter is most political issues involve money, one way or the other,
right?
If you trace it through. And it's expensive to run for office, okay? And I have great respect for the lawmakers have to be able to raise money and not promise anything except good government as a recipient of that money. And of course, all too often, interest groups give money because they want something. Okay, well, it's a fine line.
Right.
But it can be balanced. We've seen it over and over again.
And we saw the whole development of fundraisers in Lansing that all week long where lobbyists it was almost you had to go.
Yeah, but that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And so we live with that, but that's, you know, that whole attitude. But we have to end up with the process I'm talking about, where all the points of view are gathered in, and all the players get an opportunity to have their say, and then you live with the results, so to speak.
And another role that you evolved into fulfilling was advising your clients if they had a PAC. Most of them probably.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Talk about that part.
Well, right. There's two ways to be involved with a client. You can help them locally at home, knocking on doors and being involved in their campaign, or you can give them money or raise money for them, okay? But we don't have public funding of our legislative campaigns or what have you. So you've got to raise the money to get your message out, to what you're about, what you're trying to do, okay? And we go from there. One of the things that's always talked about is disclosure, okay? You can give money to somebody, but a candidate has to and should report where they get their money, okay? So that everybody knows who's involved in the process and how and why and what have you. And all too often, as we know in today's world, corporations can give money, and some kind of money doesn't have to be disclosed and what have you, and this is a messy process that we have to sort through. So anyway.
Yeah. And do you have any sense of where lobbying is headed?
No, we're always going to have lobbyists, okay, of some kind.
I think you described that as part of the First Amendment, actually.
Yeah, right. I mean,
How you petition government.
that's right. So, you know, we know a lot of people that are involved in government, that you're in government for a while and then you go out and you're a lobbyist, but you're part of the process. You're part of the process, and it's not going to change.
Right.
And it's a great process, and I've enjoyed it. I respect it. I watch it, and I'm interested in it.
You're still interested in politics?
Well, of course, as you know, I do it through involvement with the Political History Society, because it's important to know political history, the past. If you know the past, you got experience, and maybe you won't make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
So that's, I find that very interesting.
And what you did, you took an idea by Kevin Kelly to have a library, but really
Yeah,
made some bones to it to establish a political history library here in Michigan.
Right, right. And you're involved in
Many of your own books form the core of this, and other donated books.
Right. It's all part of the big picture.
Right, because that does reflect your interest. And
Yeah, I will always have that interest, and like you said, and that's, my children are interested, and that's because they're part of the family.
right.
Like I learned it from my father, they're learning it from our family. So
Where you had dinner table conversations growing up about politics, you expose your children to much the same?
you know, your children learn even if you don't say anything.
Yeah.
They see what you do and what you're involved in, and that's good. That's good. And here again, I'm so pleased that I was able to have 9 children and grandchildren and enjoy that for the last 20 years. So it's been a good life, Larry.
It has been, and you met all these political figures, not just Governor Murphy, but Soapy, Senator Hart,
John Swainson,
governors,
congressmen, and interesting state lawmakers. You and I had a mutual friend in Bill Ryan, who was Speaker of the House for years. And
transcendent kind of leader. Yeah.
you know, and it's interesting because you have this all these elected officials. They're representative of society. Okay, they're no more different. You have good lawmakers, bad lawmakers, boy, girl, and what have you, and it's just now it's interesting. We're finally coming to the point that women are getting respected in the way they should, elected to office and what have you.
And in the lobbying corps?
In the lobbying corps and at all levels, judicial corps.
MLC has women, and it's firm.
Well, that's good. That's good. For all too long, it was just a man's world. Well, we're increasing. So I'm very hopeful about the future.
Well, this has been fun, Tom.
Yeah, very satisfying.
That's pretty good. Thank you very much. This has been a great conversation about lobbying in Michigan, and a multi-client inventor here with us today, Tom Cleary. Thank you.
Thank you.